Hey everybody, Dreamikuma here. It's been a minute. I've been a little pissed off, been a little bored, been all over the place. Not a whole lot of news going on. I'm gonna crack open a cold one with the boys real quick. This video is gonna be a little bit longer than expected because I'm gonna have some boomer notions, some boomer diatribes. We're gonna go on a little adventure. Recent acquisitions, I guess, would be something to bring up. I just started playing Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. It's a really great way to enjoy 40k Bolt Gun. It's a pretty decent boomer shooter for the price. It's not a AAA game by any stretch, but it's a lot of fun. Probably one of the cheaper ways to play 40k. Speaking of prices, other big acquisitions, we got Viking Death Squad. I got this at a store that I don't normally go to because they're a little bit out of the way, and they made a mistake because I hadn't bought this for the obvious fact of this was what, $54 at retail. MSRP is $53.99, I want to say. So $54, and it doesn't really go on sale anywhere for not much, and it's a tiny little book. It's a great game, fun game, don't get me wrong, but when Cyborg is twice as big as this, real hard for me to try to sell it. So going off that segue of the prices of things, D&D raising their prices to $60 a book, $70 if you want a digital bundle, unless you pre-order directly from them the bundle, or something along those lines. I know the prices are going up $10. It's 20% increase on books, which I am really kind of hoping draws the line. A little bit of a tale to tell. I used to play Warhammer 40k. I played Orcs. I picked up the game in 6th edition. So this is from the ancient long ago times of 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. 6th edition had just come out, and it was a good time to jump. I dabbled a little bit in 5th. 6th came out. I had a 5th edition codex for Orcs, and I played Orcs. Drive-by barbecues and knobs. Running knobs and a pain boy and a war boss on bikes. So you'd have biker boys that would just fly around like crazy. It was a lot of fun. However, one of the most irritating things happened 2 years after I started playing. They cycled up to a new edition. And with that new edition, they released a 7th edition codex for the Orcs, which the Orcs did need an update, don't get me wrong. But to play my Dakajet, Ghazghkull Thraka, the Orcs, and have the rulebook, basically everything that came out all around the same time, right shortly after the launch of 7th edition, it was going to cost me $200 in books. No figs, no paints, no brushes, no templates, although I think templates by then were getting passé, or they were near passé, one of the two. But regardless, sorry, had to check something. I'm a little bit blind. Regardless, prices were really high. $200 to play the goddamn game. Way too fucking much, right? So, I quit. I dropped it. It was not worth playing 40k at $200. Not whenever I had already invested the codex, the rulebook, an army, all this less than 2 years prior. And now I'm looking at another $200, and I don't know when the 8th edition's coming out. I don't know whenever they're going to have a changeover. And that's before you even get into like the competitive meta, support stuff, expansions, all that good shit, right? And this long diatribe comes back to, at some point, you price out your consumers. There's a lot of people that I personally know that played back then that don't play now, and one of the key factors, not the only key factor, but one of them is the price. It is very hard to justify that kind of money repeatedly. I tried to get back in to 40K with Indomitus. We got our hands on an Indomitus box, and it didn't have the codexes to properly play, and it was still like $250 or something to that. It was over $200 that we paid, and that was with a pre-order and a wait time. And I just did not feel like I got that $100 plus in Necrons really there. and I started playing another game, or I stopped playing war games for a good chunk. Like, I play a little bit of Frostgrave now, and there's a couple other games I like to try, like Ragnarok and whatnot. But I don't play a whole lot of war games now because, well, Warhammer's the big dog. Not a lot of people locally, and I know this is a weird thing to think, but a lot of people kind of have a similar mentality. A lot of people locally either have to constantly build up their scene to get people into playing the games that they want to play, or they just don't play. I ain't got time to build up a scene for Frostgrave. I love Frostgrave. It's an amazing game. I work, and I have a lot of other things that I have to take care of in life before I take care of my miniature hobby. So I don't really play anymore because there's no Frostgrave scene in this area. Now, why I bring up pricing and whatnot, and D&D's pricing, is because at $60 a book in one D&D, or whatever they want to call the next edition, it's going to be $60 per book. It's a 3-book set. I doubt I would fucking eat a pair of... I would eat an entire Pinecone if D&D next edition, or whatever they're going to call it, 1 D&D, D&D 5.5, whatever you want to call it, I would eat a Pinecone if that was all one book. So it's 3 books, right? And 3 books at $150 is a bit steep back then. Now it's $180 before tax. And sure, you can go on Amazon and maybe get it cheaper. But it's still going to be over that $100 hump, when you can get the other games for a lot cheaper. But they're the industry leader. I just don't see the point in buying D&D already. Like, the straw that broke the camel's back for me was literally Xanathar's Guide. So, I mean, oh no. But it's another one of those instances, like, it's just going to keep piling stuff on. The Pinkertons incident, the price points, the failure of the movie, this push for the VTT, the push for more digital asset stuff. It's starting to compound on top of each other, and eventually, like, the industry leader is not going to be doing so hot. But I also saw the most galaxy brain thought process that came out of this via Twitter. The Twitter. That being, lo and behold, from Daniel Fox and others, that $60 is good. We need to raise prices. The industry is too low. We don't get paid enough. And while I can understand the plight of a writer, having written a few things for pennies on the dollar myself and not really seeing a large return, most people are never going to be able to write a book that will make their lifetime's worth of nobody's going to write and make money. I guess that's the best way to put it. For every Stephen King, you have 10,000 Joe Schmoes that have written a novel and will maybe see $5. So I get their plight that they want to get paid, and I don't necessarily disagree with the idea that D&D or RPG authors should be getting paid more. But also, Drive-Thru takes out 30 to 35% of their cut. And you're also running into stuff like where Kickstarter is seeing record profits. And I don't have hard numbers on a Kickstarter doing record profits, but you see a Kickstarter make $10s, $20, $30, $40,000 real fucking easy just because it's running a project that people find interesting. So I kind of feel like there's a logistics issue in there that they need to solve before they start assaulting the consumer base. And I'm going to keep saying that one. Like, you're going to price people out, because I'm not spending $180 before tax on a fucking RPG. What if I hate it? That's almost a game console. I have a computer that costs less than $200. And it was brand new and it was less than $200. So, I don't see it. I do not see this going well, and I'm going to advocate that nobody fucking buy this thing at $180. Like, I mean, we already have plenty of reasons not to buy the next edition anyway. We don't want to get a book early and have, armed guards knock at our door just trying to get their shit back and threatening us with jail time for, I don't know, getting a product that either fell off a truck or was accidentally shipped out. What a weird world we live in, right? We sit here and we raise prices, or we sit here and we look at a scumbag company and people will say that's a good idea. Let's harm our customer base further. Like, and you know what? I'll even say there are some RPG books that are worth that $60. Even more so in a few cases. Lamentations of the Flame Princess and Morkborg. I would say Cyborg specifically, as far as the Stockholm Cartel stuff goes, I could see that being $60. But that's also a complete RPG system in one book, with beautiful art, good pages, stitch binding. Like, they're well-built books. Lamentations, same way. You can say what you want about their content, but the books are built solid. And the quality shows. And I could see a price increase. For 5e, or 5e's ilk, I bought a 5e Dungeon Master's Guide once, and it was printed half upside down. I have a player's handbook, and one of my old players has a player's handbook, and they reference two different things on the same page. Trying to figure out CR. We wanted to figure out what CR actually was for a minute. And fuck challenge rating. Who the fuck cares about challenge rating, right? I wanted to see, hey, what's it say? His book didn't even have the reference that my book did. Because they kept changing the shit in between printings and not saying anything. Heaven forbid somebody have two books with the same cover by the same company for the same game and have two different pieces of content in them, Oh boy, it's real hard to imagine, people trying to make sure they know where their info is. Anyway, yeah, I'm a bit pissed off and boomerish. TLDR, don't buy 5e. Don't buy the Glory Hole of the Giants. Don't buy Spelljammer. If the prices are going up, fuck this. Like, It's not worth the money. You can buy other games at lower prices. And if other game companies are trying to raise their prices, figure out why. I'm definitely going to throw that one out there because I've seen, like I said, I've seen some guys like Zweihander be like, oh yeah, we're going to raise our prices. Half his book is an OSR clone of Warhammer Fantasy with black and white art. Where's the price increase? Like, do I really want to know? Anyway, yeah, this has been a tirade.